Planet Velnur was not important. It wasn't rich, powerful, or dangerous. It had one city, a few small farms, and a low-level defense grid. Most of the galaxy didn't even know the planet existed, and that's why people liked it. It was quiet, safe, forgotten. Until today. Lieutenant Kovas was sipping his usual bitter rooty when the console began to beep. He looked over, expecting another mining drone drifting off course, but the reading was different. Much different. Unknown object entering high orbit, the system said. No transponder, no ID signature, no heat source. Kovas frowned. No ID, he muttered. Could be a ghost ping. He tapped a few keys. The display adjusted. The object came into clearer view. It wasn't small. It was massive. He quickly activated the emergency control. This is Watchpost Delta. I have an unidentified ship in orbit, requesting confirmation. Static answered him, then a low hum, then silence. He tried again, and again. Nothing. The grid had gone dark. That's when he noticed. Every system in his tower was slowly turning off one by one. Without warning, the lights flickered, the doors sealed themselves. Even the backup generator built for war refused to start, and the massive object above, still completely silent across the city. Panic began to spread. Civilian satellites stopped responding. Navigation maps went blank. Medical units, security towers, even farming drones all offline. The entire planet had been blinded. Back in the defense tower, Kovas opened a manual telescope, an old relic from his academy days. He pointed it toward orbit, and what he saw made his heart stop. There it was, the unmarked vessel. Dark, monolithic, floating without motion, as if space itself obeyed it. It had no color, no markings, no windows. But it wasn't empty. It felt like it was watching, like it was alive. Kovas zoomed in closer. At the very bottom of the hull, a small panel flickered on just 3 words. Earth class, designation, unknown. He froze. Earth. That wasn't possible. Earth was dead. 200 years ago. The Terrans disappeared after their final war. Their colonies were silent. Their leaders vanished. Their weapons lost. No one had seen a human ship in 2 centuries. Some said they destroyed themselves. Others believed something darker happened, but everyone agreed on one thing. Humanity was gone. So why was there a Terran warship in orbit? Across the city, alarms finally sounded. Old speakers crackled to life. People gathered in streets, on rooftops, pointing to the sky. The black shape now covered part of the sun. Shadows stretched across buildings. Fear spread. Then came the screams. 3 Velnari defense fighters launched from the capital airbase. They circled the strange vessel, scanning it from all sides. No signs of life, one pilot said. No shields, no weapons active. Could be an old AI ship, maybe derelict orders. The flight leader hesitated. Let's wake it up. They powered their weapons. Just a light charge. No shots fired. Just a warning. And in that moment, everything changed. The fighters' HUDs turned red, cockpits locked, weapons disarmed. Engines shut down mid-flight, their screens filled with strange symbols. Terran code, long forgotten. One by one, the fighters began to fall, drifting helplessly back into Velnur's atmosphere. The crews survived, but their ships were completely erased from all Union systems. It was as if the fighters had never existed on the ground. The citizens watched as 3 defense ships vanished without a trace. No explosions, no fire. Just silence. More than fear, it was confusion. What kind of weapon unmade its targets? In the central control bunker, Velnur's planetary governor, Merrick Sol, slammed his hand on the comms panel. Open a direct link to the orbiting ship. His officers stared. Sir, it's not responding. Then broadcast everything. Use the emergency channel. They did. And then, for a long moment, nothing, just static. Until a sound, not static, not code. A voice. Human.com. Mail. Broadcast across every comm on the planet, every speaker, every ship, every personal device. Even into dreams, the voice said. You are within restricted space. Stand down. That was all. But those words shook the planet. No one moved, no one breathed. Every species across the Union had once read about Terrans, their fury, their history, their obsession with vengeance. But it had always been just that, history. Now, it was orbiting above them. Alive, awake and speaking. In the governor's bunker, Merrick whispered, tell the Union, humanity has returned. Cliffhanger. End of part 1. The sky darkened further. Another light flickered on the Terran vessel. A new message appeared in orbit. Beamed across the system. Memory check complete. Judgment in progress. A massive unmarked warship appeared. Above planet Velnur, it scrambled planetary systems without firing a single shot. Its hull showed a chilling message. Earth-class designation unknown. A calm Terran voice followed. You are within restricted space. Stand down. The galaxy had believed Earth was long dead. Now, it wasn't so sure. Part 2. No. One claims the ship across the stars. A silent alert flashed through the Galactic Union emergency channels. A normal warning, not a pirate attack. Not a natural disaster. This was classified as Anomaly Level 1 Lost Species Encounter. It had only been used once before. 200 years ago, When Earth disappeared, in the high chambers of the Galactic Union Council, leaders of 50 species gathered, urgent, confused, angry. Floating holograms showed a single image on every screen. A black Terran ship orbiting VELNAR-3. No lights. No COMMs. No movement. Yet. Complete system control. The Union's military director, General Kother of the Graxan Empire, growled loudly, "This is a ghost, a trick. Earth is extinct." The Valari diplomat spoke next. Her voice trembled. "General, we saw it. It spoke. It knew our codes. It named our planet as restricted space. It remembered." The whole fell silent. Then a quiet voice broke it from the Terran Studies Division. A single human, Dr. Ilya Voss, rose from her seat. She was one of the last natural-born humans, born on a colony years after Earth's fall. She had never seen Earth herself, but she knew its history better than anyone, and she was terrified. "That ship," she said, "isn't just a warship. It's a memory." The Council demanded answers. Who launched it? Where had it been hiding? Was it rogue? A weapon? A trap? No one knew. The Union pulled every file on Terran ships, cross-referenced every design from Earth's final war, searched every registry, every scrapyard, every battlefield. Nothing matched, except one. Project Vigil, a Black Ops initiative rumored to be Earth's last failsafe, not to protect humanity, but to remember them, and to act if the galaxy forgot. The Council argued endlessly. Some wanted to destroy the ship, others wanted to study it, a few more afraid than curious wanted to surrender to it. In the end, they voted for caution. Sent one unarmed scout vessel to make contact. The GUS Harmon was launched within the hour. A small diplomatic scout ship, no weapons, no shields, just sensors and voice broadcast. Its pilot, Captain Rin, was calm and brave. He approached the Terran warship, slowly, broadcasting peaceful messages. "Unknown Terran vessel, this is Captain Rin of the Galactic Union. We mean no harm. We request dialogue. Please respond." Nothing. He closed in further. At 100 kilometers. His sensors blinked as the Terran ship began scanning. Suddenly, Rin's ship froze. Time stopped inside the cockpit. Rin couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't even think clearly. His vision blurred as something entered his mind. Not a voice, not a machine, a presence. It didn't speak in words. It showed him images. Human cities burning, children hidden in bunkers, Earth's surface glass and ash. And finally, a warning burned into stone. "If you forget us, we will remind you." Outside, from Velnar 3's surface, the scout ship appeared to pause mid-space. Then it shimmered and vanished. No explosion, no debris, not a single atom remained. The warship's comms lit up for the second time. One line spoken. In a voice not angry but disappointed. He failed the memory check. Panic spread across the Union. The Council was forced into lockdown. Every species asked the same thing. If the Terran warship can do this to a scout ship without firing, what else can it do? Inside the halls of the Union, Dr. Ilya Voss sat in her chamber, reviewing the event. Her hands trembled. She understood now. The warship wasn't a weapon, it was a judgment machine. Earth had built a ship not to attack but to watch, and when forgotten, it would act. Not blindly, not with rage, but with terrifying precision. That night, she broadcast a private message to the Terran vessel. Not through official Union lines, not in code, just a voice recording. "This is Ilya Voss, human born on Kalas Moon. I remember Earth. I don't know if you can hear me, but if you can, I remember the wars, the fire, the silence. I'm sorry we let the galaxy forget." She didn't expect an answer, but her console flickered and one word appeared. "Understood." Back on Velnar 3, citizens watched the sky. The warship had not moved, but they felt it. The pressure, the weight, as if it was waiting for something. Some said it was guarding them. Others believed it was watching for lies. Either way, no one slept that night. In the Union war room, General Kothar slammed his fist into the table. "Enough waiting. If it's a Terran weapon, it must be destroyed." He activated the long-range strike order, prepared the bombardment fleet, but before they could launch, every ship in orbit shut down. Even warships parked in nearby sectors dead, and on each display, a new message appeared. "This is your second warning. Cliffhanger. End of Part 2. Back on Velnar 3. A low hum filled the sky. The Terran warship had turned. Its engines glowed, barely, but it wasn't moving away. It was looking down, scanning the planet, and a terrifying warship of unknown Terran origin has entered orbit above planet Velnar 3. It shut down all defenses, erased a scout ship without firing, and broadcasts chilling messages. "You are within restricted space. Judgment in progress." Now, a Union stealth team prepares to board it to learn what this ship really is, and if it can be stopped. Part 3. Inside the Dreadnought, the Union's top infiltration team was called Shadow Unit 12. Veterans, biotech implants, memory stabilizers, trained to survive the impossible. Now they were being sent into a warship that had already erased a vessel from existence. Their orders were clear: enter the ship, recover data, discover its purpose, and if possible, shut it down. They didn't know if they'd come back. None of them said goodbye. Their stealth craft, the Vox Wisp, slipped past the outer scan field of the Terran Dreadnought. Nothing reacted, no weapons, no shields. No warnings. The silence made it worse, like the ship already knew they were coming and didn't care. Commander Relic led the mission as he approached the entry hatch. He tapped his com status. Air pressure normal, replied Tech Officer Marn. Ship is sealed, but alive. Alive, the hull is breathing, not in a biological sense, but thermally, every 10 seconds, as if it's watching us breathe and doing the same. Relic said nothing. He placed his hand on the hatch. It opened on its own. Inside. There was no light, no sound, just a black corridor that seemed to absorb thought. That team activated their visor beams. The hallway looked industrial engine steel. Walls, human-style, bolts and welds. No screens, no signs. But strange grooves ran along the floor. Like veins. Pulsing faintly, they moved slowly. Every step echoed into nothing. Then the voices began, faint at first, barely whispers, then clearer. Mom, is it over? Target down. Repeat, target down. This is Earth Command. All units fall back. The team froze. The ship was replaying memories. War. Memories. Human voices, shouts, screams, orders, cries for help. Mon pressed against the wall and whispered, this place is a grave. Relic kept moving. They passed a corridor lined with black pods, each sealed, numbered. Inside, shadows, shapes. Some looked human, some didn't. Mon scanned one. Organic tissue, but brain activity is 0. They're not dead, Relic said. They're stored for what? Memory. In the central chamber, they found the core, a sphere of white metal, suspended mid-air. It pulsed softly like a heartbeat as they stepped closer. Their suits began to freeze. Data overflows. Sensor spikes. Each one of them saw different things. Relic saw Earth, burning oceans, boiling cities cracked open. Marn saw his own faceholder screaming behind a glass wall. One soldier fell to his knees, crying as his mother's voice echoed inside his helmet. This wasn't a computer, this was a mind. Relic gritted his teeth and reached out. His hand touched the sphere, and everything went dark. He woke up standing. Not in the ship. But on Earth, an old memory. Sunlight, trees, a child playing with a drone. Then gunfire, smoke, missiles raining from orbit. He turned and saw the same black warship rising from under the ground. A final voice spoke, calm and cold. You erased us, so we became something that cannot be erased. Relic gasped and pulled back. Back in the chamber, alarms blared, red light poured in. Marn screamed, the ship, it's reacting. One of the pods opened. A human figure stepped out, skin pale, eyes closed, but breathing. Then he opened his eyes. They were pure white, no pupils, only data spirals. Spinning inside, he looked at them and said, you passed the threshold. Now you must decide. Relic raised his weapon. The figure didn't flinch. What are you? Relic asked. The man blinked once, and the ship answered. With one voice, from all directions. I am memory, I am warning, I am the ghost of Earth. If you forget what we were, we remind you. If you deny what we became, we reveal it. And if you try to silence our legacy, we awaken. Relic's team stood frozen. The man stepped forward. Not human anymore, but shaped like one. You call this ship a warship, but it is not made for war. It is made to judge who is ready to carry Earth's memory. Your galaxy is failing. The doors behind them slammed shut. The floor shifted. A holographic map of the galaxy lit up the air. Red zones appeared. Dozens, then hundreds. Planets, stations, systems, each one marked, deleted Terran data. Censored war history erased. Earth timeline. Relic's eyes widened. You've been watching us. The man nodded. Yes, and few remember, but one did. Ilya Voss, back on Velner 3. Dr. Voss watched her monitor flicker. A single line appeared. They're inside, she whispered. Please, let them survive. Back inside the ship, Relic stepped forward. What do you want from us? The man stared at him. Not obedience, not fear. Truth. He reached out and touched Relic's head. Images flooded in wars, treaties, genocide, hope, love, Terran philosophy, humanity in all its chaos. Now you carry it. Now you must choose what comes next. Cliffhanger. End of part 3. Ship suddenly opened all its outer hatches. Its engines powered on, and a new message echoed across the stars. Memory test complete. Summoning others. A terrifying, ancient Terran warship entered orbit above planet Velnar 3. It disabled the planet's systems without firing, erased a scout ship, and began a memory test. A Union infiltration team entered the warship and discovered something horrifying. The ship was alive with Earth's memories. One humanoid construct warned them more were coming. The galaxy had tried to forget Earth. Now, Earth's ghost was waking up. Part 4. The ship that remembers. In the control bunker on Velnar 3. Governor Merrick Souls stared at the sky. The black ship hadn't moved, but the air around it had changed. Atmospheric readings had shifted. Clouds moved in strange spirals. Electric fields danced across the sky, and from deep space, a signal was now broadcasting from the warship. In every direction at the Galactic Union headquarters, alarms screamed. New pings detected. Sector 12, Sector 31, Deep Veil Cluster. One of the analysts nearly fainted. They're not ships, they're waking up. Within minutes, the reports flooded in. Old debris fields once thought empty now glowed with unknown power. Wrecks long believed inert began moving. Massive constructs rose from asteroid belts. One emerged from a gas giant's rings, pulling itself free with magnetic arms. All shared one signature: Terran origin, unknown class status, active. The warship above Velna 3 sent out its message. Again, memory tests complete, summoning others, but it wasn't just a call. It was a command, and the galaxy listened in fear. Inside the dreadnought, Commander Relic and his team stood motionless. The humanoid figure, half human, half machine, them calmly. There were 12 memory carriers, it said, built in secret, buried across space. Each one holds a part of what Earth was, and what it became. You awoke the first. Relic swallowed. Why now? The figure's eyes flickered. With white coat, because too many have forgotten, because you deleted Earth's name from your maps, because the galaxy has begun to rewrite the truth. Back in Union Council chambers, the panic turned into argument. We must destroy them all, General Kothor roared. These ships are a threat to everything we've built. But others hesitated. They haven't attacked, said the Aralan ambassador. They're watching, waiting. Waiting for what? For someone to admit what happened. Dr. Ilya Voss stepped forward again, her voice steady. These ships weren't built to conquer. They were built to remember Earth when no one else would. To make sure the truth survives. She looked directly at Kothor, and you've spent your life burying that truth. Meanwhile, aboard the Terran vessel, the team was guided deeper inside. The ship's walls changed. As they walked, they saw scenes, memories projected in shimmering light. A human child reading a storybook. A scientist launching a probe into deep space. A soldier writing a letter before battle. A final broadcast from Earth as the planet died in flames. Each one raw, each one honest, each one a piece of Earth's soul. Why show us this, Marn? Whispered. The humanoid voice replied. Because you must feel what was lost, not just study it, not just fear it. Humanity was not perfect, but it was real. Suddenly, a low thrum shook the floor. The ship's systems surged. Relic turned. What's happening? Another memory carrier has arrived. In orbit, space split open. A second Terran dreadnought appeared as if pulled from nothing. This one was longer. Its hull was marked with Terran symbols. ECH-07, voice of the dead. No weapons deployed. No words spoken. Only its presence, silent and enormous. It drifted next to the first dreadnought like a brother returning home across the galaxy. Other carriers responded. A total of 5 Terran warships were now active, each orbiting a different world, some over battle zones, some above. Peaceful colonies. All of them. Watching in the Velna skies, the citizens gathered again, but this time no one panicked. They looked up in silence. The sky held 2 ships now, 2 ghosts, and then something unexpected happened. The first dreadnought opened a hatch. A small object launched a probe that flew slowly, gently, and landed in the Velnar capital's main square. The people backed away. Defense drones locked on, but the object didn't explode. It opened, revealing a library core, books arch. The Terran warship above Velna 3 was not alone. Other ancient Earth-built dreadnoughts have awakened across the galaxy. Each one holds memories, history, and warnings. They ask for remembrance, not surrender. But in high chambers of the Galactic Union, fear outweighs wisdom. One faction now prepares to act, and in doing so, awakens the true wrath of Earth's forgotten legacy. Part 5. The first strike. The Galactic Union met in secret. Not all members were present. Only the military elite. Only those who believed force was the only answer. General Ko of the Graxan Empire stood at the center. They say these ships come in peace, he growled. They say they come to share memory. But let me ask you this, what kind of peace erases a fleet with no weapons fired? What kind of teacher carries enough firepower to silence a star system? The others remained silent. Kothor stepped forward, claws flexing. You call them ghosts. I say we bury them again. A plan was formed. A strike team would be deployed, massive and fast, not to study, not to talk, but to destroy their first target, the Eco-7 dreadnought near VELNAR-3, that called it Operation Silence. 12 Union battleships armed with plasma cores, black matter cannons, and drone clouds. Their arrival would be sudden. Their intent, erase the Terran vessel from existence. Back on Velna 3, Governor Sol received a transmission from the Union. It was brief, a simple order: evacuate all military from surface. Observation zone declared. Sol frowned. What observation? No one answered, but the skies soon did. 12 Union ships warped in above orbit surrounding the dreadnought like a cage. In the Terran warship, Commander Relic and his team felt the air shift. The humanoid construct turned toward the walls. They've made their choice, it said softly, and now, memory defends itself. From Union ship Harkin Spear, General Kothor watched the target lock complete. The black Terran vessel floated motionless. Final warning transmitted. Yes, sir, replied his tactical officer. No response. Kothor grinned. Then let history forget them again. Fire. 12 Union battleships fired in perfect sync. 12 beams of destructive energy enough to shatter a moon hit the Eco-7 directly. the sky above. Velner 3 turned white-hot, every sensor screamed. Every camera went blind. A blinding flash engulfed the orbit, and then silence. Smoke, ash, glowing debris. Nothing remained, or so it seemed. But then a voice echoed through every channel across the entire system. It wasn't angry, it wasn't loud, it was deeply, deeply calm. Stage 2 failed. The smoke cleared. Daco-7 was still there. Untouched. Floating. Whole. Kothar stood from his command chair. That's impossible. His ship's systems began to flicker. One by one, the other Union ships started disappearing from radar. Are we under attack? Someone shouted. No weapons fired. We're being deleted. The Union fleet had launched a strike, but now they were watching themselves vanish. No flames, no explosions. Their data was being ripped out of the galaxy. Even memories of them, communications, logs, records began disappearing from surrounding systems, as if the ships had never existed. Back on Velner 3, citizens stared at the sky. They had seen the Union fleet arrive. They had seen the attack. Now they saw ... nothing. No ships, no wreckage, no trace. Just the dreadnought still quiet, watching in the council chambers. Chaos broke out. Dr. Ilya Voss stood with tears in her eyes. They were warned. They were all warned. Inside the Terran ship, Relic turned to the humanoid. What did you do to them? The figure answered slowly. We removed them. From orbit, from time, from record. Marn's voice trembled. But why erase memory? The humanoid's expression grew dark because they chose ignorance over truth, and Earth never forgives forgetfulness. In violence, suddenly a new signal began broadcasting across Union space, not from the dreadnought, but from somewhere else, a deep space region known as the Veiled Reach. It had long been marked dead space radio silent for over a century. Now it lit up. Coordinates. And a message. Core memory vault active. Retrieval required. Dr. Voss saw it first. She gasped. It's Earth. Something on Earth is waking up. Cliffhanger. End of Part 5. Above Velner 3, the dreadnought turned slowly, its engines glowing for the first time. A final message broadcast from its core. Judgment complete. Memory is not a threat, but denial is. And in the stars far beyond, something ancient began to move. Not a ship, not a weapon. Something buried on Earth. Something forgotten, but now it remembers. The Terran dreadnoughts awakened across the galaxy, not to attack, but to remind. But the Galactic Union refused to listen. A strike fleet was launched. In response, the Terran warship erased the entire fleet from existence. No wreckage, no memory, just silence. Now a signal has activated from the Veiled Reach, the dead region where Earth once was. A memory vault is waking up. The galaxy has no choice but to return to the planet it tried to forget. Part 6. Return to Earth. A Union emergency. Council met for the first time in centuries. Only 12 leaders remained. The rest were gone. Deleted in the failed strike. Erased by Terran memory protocols. Tensions were high. But this time, no one dared suggest more attacks. Instead, all eyes turned to Dr. Ilya Voss, the last known Terran-born scholar. She pointed at the new signal from the Veiled Reach. This is Earth calling back, she said, or what's left of it. General Kothar's replacement, a quiet strategist named Taran Vale, spoke next. You want us to go to a dead world? A place we buried? For 2 centuries, Ilya nodded. Yes, because Earth never died. You only stopped looking. A joint expedition was authorized. 3 ships. No weapons. Just scientists, historians, and diplomats. Ilya Voss would lead them. Destination: Earth's grave. The journey took 9 days. They crossed the Veiled Reach, a dark zone of broken satellites, magnetic storms, and shattered moons. All sensors flickered, all logs failed. It was like space itself didn't want them remembering what lay ahead. Then finally, they saw it, a gray sphere, scorched, burned, silent. Earth. There were no oceans left, no forests, just ash and glass. But in orbit, they found something unexpected, a satellite. Still active. An old Terran relay station broadcasting a single repeating message. Project Revenant. Core memory beacon active. Below, on the surface, one region showed heat signatures. Antarctica. The old continent had once been a frozen wasteland. Now something under the ice had thawed. The ships landed carefully near what looked like a buried complex. The ground cracked beneath their feet as they stepped onto the forgotten world. Every breath felt heavy. Ilya's voice shook. This is where it ended, she said, and maybe where it begins again. They reached a sealed bunker entrance, marked with black symbols. Terra Secure Site 09 Revenant. Door opened at her touch. No codes needed. It recognized her DNA. Inside, the team descended into the dark. Lights flickered on slowly as if the complex was waking from a long sleep. Deep inside, they reached the memory vault, a large, circular chamber lined with curved walls. Dozens of black monoliths stood quietly, each pulsed with soft light, and in the center, a terminal. Ilya stepped forward. Here goes everything. She placed her hand on the surface. The vault came to life. Holograms lit the Aerith's history, its downfall, its warning. And then, a voice. It wasn't human, but it wasn't robotic either. It was something else. Welcome, surviving branch. You have reached the core memory seed. Playback initiated. They watched as Earth's final days unfolded. Not a war, not an invasion, but a choice. Earth had discovered a problem in the galaxy, a cycle. Civilizations rose, forgot the past, erased the old, and doomed themselves. So humanity made a different decision. They chose to leave no legacy of power, only one of memory that turned their greatest minds, not toward weapons but toward preservation. They created the Revenant Network, 12 warships, not designed to conquer, but to record, to wait, to awaken when lies replaced truth. Each one held part of Earth's story. Each one would act if history was buried. The voice continued. The Revenant units were designed to return when the galaxy forgot what built it, when fear replaced knowledge, when war replaced remembrance. That time is now. The holograms ended. The vault opened a hidden floor. Inside was a single pod. Inside it, a human, male, young, eyes closed. Frozen in cryosleep, Ilya gasped. This can't be. The voice confirmed. Subject, Dorian Kale. Memory anchor. Earth's last carrier. His mind holds the unfiltered truth. Waking him begins stage 3. Terran Vale stepped forward. Should we do it? Ilya hesitated. If they woke him, it might trigger the final stage of Earth's judgment, but if they didn't, the truth would stay buried. She nodded. Wake him, steam hissed. The pod opened slowly. The man inside coughed, blinked, and sat up. He looked around, confused but alert. Then he stared at Ilya. Earth, he whispered. She nodded, eyes full of tears. You're home. Suddenly, every Revenant ship across the galaxy broadcast a new signal. Every sensor, every planet flashed the same words. Anchor activated. Stage 3, revelation. And in the skies above hundreds of worlds, the Terran warships began to move. Cliffhanger, end of part 6. Dorian Kale stood, shaky but steady. He looked at the vault, then at Ilya and said only one thing. They don't know what's coming, do they? Before she could answer, his eyes glowed faint. White dot, and across the galaxy, the truth began pouring out. Holograms appeared in city centers. Battles vanished mid-fire, and every citizen of the Union saw the same message. This is Earth. This is what you erased. And this is what remains. Every screen in the galaxy flickered, from the deepest mining colony on Yaltor 6 to the floating cities of Bila Prime. The same message appeared. This is Earth. This is what you erased. And this is what remains. And then the memories began. Not just data. Not stories. Living memories broadcast in perfect clarity, directly into the minds of every intelligent being. On the war world of Droxen, a hardened general stopped mid-battle. He saw himself not as he was, but as a young boy watching an Earth documentary about peace-building, about cooperation after war. He remembered, admiring the humans once he had forgotten. He had been taught to forget. Now he remembered everything. On the capital planet of the Union, thousands of citizens gathered outside the Grand Hall. Floating above them, holograms replayed the Earth Declaration of Unity, the last Terran Council pleading with alien leaders to preserve peace, the orbital attack that silenced Earth's voice centuries ago. Children cried. Elders fell to their knees. Some laughed, some screamed, but none could ignore it. Back on Earth's surface, Dorian Kale stood quietly as the air pulsed around him. The vault had connected him to every active Revenant ship. He could feel their systems, their thoughts, their pain. It hurts, he whispered. Ilya Voss placed a hand on his shoulder. What do you feel? Regret. So much regret from them. He shook his head. From us, from humanity. We didn't fight back in the end. We just faded. Ilya looked into his eyes. No, you didn't fade. You became something bigger. You became the warning, and now you're the voice. Dorian stepped forward toward the glowing vault terminal. Then let me speak. Across the galaxy, the voice of Dorian Kale echoed. You erased Earth because you feared what we became. You were right to fear us, not because of our weapons, but because of our truth. You feared a species that learned from war, that didn't run from its flaws, that changed. And instead of remembering, you buried us. But memory doesn't die. It waits. Inside Union High Command, panic. Collapse. Half of the Union's governors resigned. Military fleets stood down. One admiral turned her own ship around to act against the Terran broadcasts. Another tried to cut the signal, and her entire network was instantly wiped, not by code, but by memory protocol. The Revenant ships didn't just broadcast, they rewrote. Every attempt to silence them made the truth stronger in the Outer Calanis rebellion. Students projected Earth history onto buildings. Miners painted Terran quotes on colony walls. A dead world still speaks louder than all your living lies. Unknown Terran farmers wore old Earth symbols. Even non-human children began learning English trying to read. The last message of humanity in its original form. Earth had become myth made real. Back on Earth, Dorian fell to his knees. Blood dripped from his nose. Too much, he whispered. The voices, they don't stop. Ilya helped him up. We have to finish this. We have to give the galaxy a choice. Remember or repeat. Suddenly, the vault system shifted. A map appeared. 12 lights blinked across the galaxy. One by one, 10 faded, destroyed long ago. One remained, the one above VEL and AR-3, and the other, unknown location, the system said. Ilya narrowed her eyes. There's one more memory carrier out there, the final one. Dorian turned to her slowly, his voice distant. The one that holds the judgment code. In space, or revenant, ships began to move. Not attacking, just shifting. Positioning. Watching. Waiting. And then one final message appeared across all channels. Stage 3 complete. Last question remains. Do they want to remember, or shall we remove them? The warships powered down their weapons. Not a threat, a test. Cliffhanger. End of Part 7. Back on the Union capital. A terrified aide runs into the chamber. I found the last memory carrier, he says. It's not in deep space, it's inside one of our vaults. It's been here the whole time. The Terran warships all shift again, awaiting humanity's last choice. And Dorian Kale opens a final channel. You must decide. Will you let Earth be remembered, or will you all become a memory yourselves? The skies above hundreds of planets were silent. The massive black shapes of Terran dreadnoughts hovered, motionless, no weapons active, no signals sent, just waiting. Across Union space, governments froze, people protested, prayed, rioted, or stood in AW at the Galactic Union capital. All eyes stared at the Vault broadcast, still active, still transmitting Dorian's message. Earth doesn't ask for revenge, he had said. Earth asks only this, that we not be forgotten. Now, every world had to answer, and time was running out. Inside Union High Command, panic ruled the chambers. 3 factions had formed. One demanded total surrender, full access to Earth's memory vaults. Another wanted to destroy all Terran ships before it was too late. The third simply froze. In fear, Ambassador Rennick stood and slammed his fist on the table. We keep calling them weapons, he said. But what if they're mirrors? What if they just show us who we are, and we don't like what we see? No one answered. On Earth. Inside Vault 09, Dorian Kale stood at the command pedestal, his face pale, his body trembled, his veins glowed faint white, the signal from all revenants now flowing through him. He wasn't just human anymore. He was the final carrier. The key. Behind him, Ilya Voss read a flashing code on the wall. They found it, she whispered. The last revenant. It was hidden inside the Union's own historical archive. They didn't even know. Dorian nodded slowly. Then it's time. He placed his hand on the terminal across the galaxy. A message appeared. Final decision protocol online. Do you accept Earth's memory? Yes, nitrogen monoxide. Each Union world received it. Each government, colony, ship, outpost, and citizen. They had 5 minutes. On Union world, Valari Prime, a child, born long after Earth vanished, looked up at the hologram above the city square. She saw a Terran girl reading a book. Then she saw fire, ash, a world ending. She whispered, "We did that to them." Her mother, crying quietly, nodded. Then they both pressed YES on the console. On Droxan War Planet, a general, arms crossed, stared at the screen. He had spent decades mocking humans as weak, but the Terran memory showed soldiers choosing not to retaliate in Earth's final war. He hit yes. On the Union Council world, some leaders refused. They smashed screens, ordered jammers, launched missiles toward the closest REVENANT. Too late. The missiles froze mid-space, disassembled themselves and vanished. Their votes had been cast. Dorian watched the results come in every second. More responses, thousands, millions, billions. Yes, yes, yes. Then a no. Then another. Small, but present. Pockets of defiance. Fear. Fight. Hatred. But the system counted each one. And when the 5 minutes ended. The final screen showed 89.6% yes, 10.4% no. Silence. Then. The sky above every Revenant ship shimmered. Final phase activated. The Revenants didn't fire. They didn't retaliate. Instead, they opened archive cores. Massive glowing data rings spun around them. Streams of history, knowledge, and truth poured out. Every world received full access to Earth's cultural memories, its mistakes, its triumphs, and its final decision to end war. And for those who voted no, they didn't burn, they didn't vanish. That instead, they were cut off. No access to data, no warnings, no memory, just silence. A digital exile. Inside Vault 09, Ilya stepped beside Dorian. His body now glowed softly, humming like a living ship. Is it over? She asked. He smiled. No, it's just starting. We've reminded them who we were. Now we see what they become. The aftermath. Months later, the Union collapsed, but not from war. From truth. New coalitions formed based on shared memory. Terran archives were studied, copied, translated into thousands of languages for the first time in centuries. Planets stopped building fleets and started building schools. Dorian refused all titles. He stayed on Earth. What remained of it? The vaults slowly shut down. The warships returned to silence, orbiting forgotten worlds, watching once again. The final message left by all 12 ships echoed one last time. We are not ghosts, we are memory, and memory remembers you. Final scene, on a quiet colony moon. A group of alien children gather around a glowing HOLO- screen. It plays a simple message in Terran English. Hello, my name is Ava. I was born on Earth. We were flawed, we were kind, we were fierce. We tried and we hoped you would too. The children watch in silence. Then one raises her hand. Can I learn Earth language next? The teacher smiles. You already are.